Good afternoon, dear students. Welcome to Sanvi Learning Services. Today, let us come up with a new unit. Okay, in the last session, we have learned about social issues. That was the 5th unit. And today, we are going to learn a different unit, which is very, very important from the point of view of not only examination, but also our personal life. Okay, so before commencing the unit, I want you to guess what our unit is going to be. I want you all to turn on your cameras first. The students who turn off cameras are cowards. That means they don't dare to show their face. Isn't it? Yes, I hope so. Very good. Now, Raghuvaran, Ashish, Ganesh, everyone has turned on camera. Okay, don't be afraid to turn on your camera. Okay. So when you turn on your camera and listen to the class, you are genuine. When you turn off the camera and listen, you are not listening. That's what I feel. Okay, so please don't turn off your camera. All of you, please turn on your camera and listen to me. All of you have a glance at the video that I am going to play. And you have to tell me what is a unit.
Number 1, pollution. Pollution of air, water and soil require millions of years to recoup. Industry and motor vehicle exhaust are the number 1 pollutants. Heavy metals, nitrates, and plastic are toxins responsible for pollution. While water pollution is caused by oil spill, acid rain, urban runoff, air pollution is caused by various gases and toxins released by industries and factories and combustion of fossil fuels. Soil pollution is majorly caused by industrial waste that deprives soil from essential nutrients. Number 2, global warming. Climate change is like global warming is the result of human practices like emission of greenhouse gases. Global warming leads to rising temperatures of the oceans and the Earth's surface, causing melting of polar ice caps, rise in sea levels, and also unnatural patterns of precipitation such as flash floods, excessive snow, or desertification. Number 3, overpopulation. The population of the planet is reaching unsustainable levels as it faces the shortage of resources like water, fuel, and food. The population explosion in less developed and developing countries is straining the already scarce resources. Intensive agriculture practiced producing food damages the environment through the use of chemical fertilizer, pesticides, and insecticides. Overpopulation is one of the crucial current environmental problems. Number 4, natural resource depletion. Natural resource depletion is another crucial current environmental problem. Fossil fuel consumption results in emission of greenhouse gases, which is responsible for global warming and climate change. Globally, people are taking efforts to shift to renewable sources of energy like solar, wind, biogas, and geothermal energy. The cost of installing the infrastructure and maintaining these sources has plummeted in the recent years. Number 5, waste disposal. The overconsumption of resources and creation of plastics are creating a global crisis of waste disposal. Developed countries are notorious for producing an excessive amount of waste or garbage and dumping their waste in the oceans, and less developed countries. Nuclear waste disposal has tremendous health hazards associated with it. Plastic, fast food, packaging, and cheap electronic wastes threaten the well-being of humans. Waste disposal is one of urgent current environmental problem. Number 6, climate change. Climate change is yet another environmental problem that has surfaced in the last couple of decades. It occurs due to rise in global warming, which occurs due to increase in temperature of the atmosphere by burning of fossil fuels and release of harmful gases by industries. Climate change has various harmful effects but not limited to melting of polar ice, change in seasons, occurrence of new diseases, frequent occurrence of floods and change in overall weather scenario. Number 7. Loss of biodiversity. Human activity is leading to the extinction of species and habitats and loss of biodiversity. Ecosystems, which took millions of years to perfect, are in danger when any species population is decimating. The balance of natural processes like pollination is crucial to the survival of the ecosystem, and human activity threatens the same. Another example is the destruction of coral reefs in the various oceans, which support the rich marine life. Number 8. Deforestation. Our forests are natural sinks of carbon dioxide and produce fresh oxygen, as well as helps in regulating temperature and rainfall. At present, forests cover 30% of the land, but every year tree cover is lost, amounting to the country of Panama due to growing population demand for more food, shelter, and cloth. Deforestation simply means clearing of green cover and make the land available for residential, industrial or commercial purpose. Number 9. Urban sprawl. Urban sprawl refers to the migration of population from high-density urban areas to low-density rural areas, which results in spreading of the city over more and more rural land. Urban sprawl results in land degradation, increased traffic, environmental issues and health issues. The ever-growing demand of land displaces natural environment consisting of flora and fauna instead of being replaced. Number 10. Ozone layer depletion. The ozone layer is an invisible layer of protection around the planet that protects us from the sun's harmful rays. Depletion of the crucial ozone layer of the atmosphere is attributed to pollution caused by chlorine and bromide found in chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs. Once these toxic gases reach the upper atmosphere, they cause a hole in the ozone layer, the biggest of which is above the Antarctic.
Okay, dear students, I hope that you have all watched the video. By now, you might have come to know what is our topic going to be. Okay, let us get into our topic. You have learned 10 major problems affecting our environment. Okay. Sixth unit of class 10th English is biodiversity. Biodiversity. Biodiversity refers to the animal and plants life around us. Diversity, the term diversity means difference, various. Various, not the same, but various. Plenty of varieties of animals, varieties of plants, flora and fauna we say, are filled in our environment. Okay. The aim of learning this lesson is to understand or to learn to protect the environment that we live. What is environment? You have seen just now. What is environment? Can someone tell me what is environment? Who is ready to say what is environment? You have been learning from childhood what is environment. Can someone tell me what is environment according to you? Please raise your hand. Who is ready? Okay, Pradima is ready. Okay, Pradima, you can unmute. Please unmute, Pradima. Pradima, please unmute. Click on unmute. I think you are not able to unmute yourself. Gautam can speak. Gautam. Please click on unmute, Gautam. Okay, you can speak, Gautam.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
The studying of society and living things is called environment.
Can you make it clear? There is some disturbance, sound disturbance. Please come again.
Studying of the study of society and living things.
Yes. Our surrounding we can call as environment. Environment includes everything. Plants, animals, rivers, water bodies, everything is included in the environment. So environment helps us to survive. Okay. So today's agenda is picture interaction, keyword, and also concept explanation. All of you look at this picture. I'll be asking you some questions. All of you look at this picture. Please look at this picture also. How many of you want to live here? Please raise your hand. How many of you want to live here? See, putting a chair or putting a tent and live here. Or how many of you want to live in this house? Or how many of you want to put up set up a tent here? Nobody. Vaishnavi, Sharanya, Sai Teja, none of you. No one wants to live here. What's the reason? Yes, it's polluted. The environment is polluted, we can say. Lot of garbage is dumped here. What do you see here? A beautiful forest, a beautiful waterfall, and here you have a house on top of a mountain. How many of you want to live here in this house? Yes, many hands are shot up. Many hands are shot up. Because you all like to live in this atmosphere. Why do you like to live in this atmosphere? Yes, it's very clean and neat. Environment is beautiful. Environment is very beautiful. No one likes to live near a garbage, but everyone likes to live on a mountain top or amidst trees. So trees and hills makes this region beautiful. A very beautiful place to sit and have a cup of coffee, isn't it? Okay, I wish that you will have a dream today. What dream should you have today? Sitting in this particular area and having a cup of coffee, talking to your parents, a very relaxed life. Please look at this picture. This is an African village. This is the picture of an African village. So altogether now I am going to sum up the concept that we are going to learn in this unit is biodiversity. The various plants and animals that surround us and how do we protect, how do they affect ecological balance. You have learned in science about ecological balance. If there is no ecological balance, survival will become difficult. If all the, what do you call, snakes in the world are killed, whose number will increase? Frogs' number will increase. If all the vulture or eagles are destroyed or killed, whose number increases? Snakes' number increases. So everything should be there in the world in a limited ratio, we say. That is ecological balance. If you cut all the trees, the world becomes a desert. If you plant so many trees, even in your house, in your kitchen, in your bedroom, if you plant so many trees, what happens? It becomes forest, the world becomes forest. So everything should be in limited number. That is what causes that is what promote ecological balance. So biodiversity, protection of environment is a major issue in the present day. Okay, so you can see some of the African village, it's like a desert area. Usually Africa has plenty of forests. You may be thinking, why Sari is teaching social? Next period is social class. Okay, so it's all needed to be learned right now to get into our topic. Okay, you can see some children in an African village. Our unit is biodiversity. The first reading, a reading of this unit is environment. What are you going to learn in this reading? Yes, an interview. This is an interview. What type of text is this? You may get a question in the examination. What type of text is this? They may give you a passage and ask you what type of text is this. You can say this is an interview. Okay. So the lesson environment is an interview with a famous African woman, Wangari Maathai. Okay, let us learn something about her. You can see her picture holding a mango sapling. Yes, from this itself, it's clear that she is an environmentalist who protects, who works to protect the environment. Isn't it? See how humbly, how beautifully she smiles. She doesn't show any ego. Her sole purpose is to plant a tree. Wangari Maathai was the founder of the Green Belt movement. You may have a doubt, what is Green Belt? My friend has black belt in karate, but I didn't hear about Green Belt. Or I have a leather belt, you may say. Green Belt movement is a movement meant to plant trees. In Telangana, we have a program, Harida Haram, garland of plants. That means what? Plant trees everywhere. So Green Belt, that also refers to planting, an activity which involves planting tree. So she is the founder of that particular movement in Africa. In 2004, she has got Nobel Peace Prize. You know about Nobel Prize. You always hear so-and-so person received Nobel Prize. What do you know about Nobel Prize? What do you know about Nobel Prize? Have you heard about Alfred Nobel, the founder of Nobel Prize? Alfred Nobel, a famous scientist. What has he done? He has invented many weapons. In olden days, he has invented many weapons. There is a story. I don't know whether the story goes true or not, but it is what said. Alfred Nobel was a very dangerous scientist, we say, who invented various weapons for war. But we cannot say he's a bad man. He's a scientist. So one day, what happened when he was walking in the street? He got a newspaper in which he found his own news about his own death. By mistake, some newspaper has published his death news. What is the news? Alfred Nobel, the killer of humanity, died today. Alfred Nobel, the killer of humanity, died today. Alfred Nobel just read the newspaper and was shocked. Do people consider me as the killer of humanity? Yes, he is the killer of humanity. Why? Because he is the one who invented many of the weapons to promote war. He got transformed. He realized that his inventions are causing damage to the world. So what he has done, all the money, property that he has earned, he has donated to Nobel Prize Foundation. Nobel Prize is given to people who excel in science, physics, chemistry, and Nobel Prize for Peace is given to people who promote peace. You may have a doubt now. Wangari Maathai has been relentlessly working for planting trees. Then how is it related to peace? Yes, planting tree is also connected to peace. Why? Because when you plant tree, there will be peace. That is the topic that we are going to enter. Wangari Maathai will speak to you in her own words about how is the connection between peace and environment. Please wait eagerly. In a few minutes, she is going to speak to you. Okay? You may have a doubt. She was an environmental activist who won many international awards. Unfortunately, Professor Maathai died on 25th September 2011 at the age of 71 after a battle with cancer. So here is an interview with Wangari Maathai. She is the founder of Green Belt Movement and also fought for equal rights for women in Africa. She is the first African woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Read the excerpts from her interview with Nippon Hoso Kyokai Radio. Let us analyze the first slide. NHK Radio. How did you become aware of the environment? Wangari Maathai. From the time we started, we were trying to respond to the basic needs of people in the rural areas. And people were asking for clean drinking water, for food, for energy, which is mostly firewood, for building material, for fodder for animals. And all these come from the land. So we knew that what the people in the rural areas were asking for had to do with the environment. They did not have those things because the environment was degraded. So from the very beginning, we understood that we have to rehabilitate the environment. Here is an interview with NHK Radio. NHK Radio, Nippon Hoso Kyokai. Radio from Japan. Nippon is the old name of Japan. Okay, NHK Radio is interviewing Wangari Maathai about her activities. So the first question, usually in interview, what do you do? If you are a reporter, how do you take an interview? You have a discourse in SSC. Write the script for interview. How do you start? For example, you go to Pavan Kalyan's house and ask him, what do you ask first? Hi, sir. Did you have your breakfast? How are your kids? Do you ask these sort of questions? No. Interview should be formed in a very formal manner. So after learning this lesson, you will be able to understand the importance of protection of environment and also how to write an interview script. It carries 10 marks. Okay. See the first question asked by NHK Radio. How did you become aware of the environment? See, you are a great environmental activist. How do you know that the environment is degraded? How does Akbar know that there is no sugar in his house? How will you become aware of that? Okay, one evening, Akbar's mother serves him tea or milk without sugar. Then he becomes aware of the environment. Sorry, aware of the sugar in the house. Yes, when we don't have something, we become aware of it. Now I may be speaking many things about environmental protection. Environment is very great. We need to protect it. Otherwise, we can't survive. You will be feeling, what will happen if we don't protect environment? It is not affecting me. What is affecting me? Food, water, sleep. I require only these things. What should I do with environment? You may be doubting, isn't it? If environment degraded, what is for you, Vaishnavi? Nothing. Do you feel so? As the days have not come, you feel so. There is a day where you are purchasing oxygen. Then you will feel that environmental protection is important. But today and the present scenario, we don't feel the severity of degradation of environment, isn't it? Wangari Maathai realized that the environment is being degraded in Africa. So how they became aware of the need of environmental protection? People were asking for basic needs. What are the basic needs? Clean drinking water, food, then energy, firewood for energy, firewood. Most of the African area, they may use gas stove, fine, but they may use the other stove, firewood as the fuel. They want wood for construction of house. They want wood or tree for firewood. They want tree to provide fodder for the animals. Fodder, what do you mean by fodder? The food that is required by animal, fodder. So all these things come from land. Firewood, construction material, everything comes from land. Then they realize that we lack these things on the earth we live in. People realize, at first people didn't understand what is happening to them. They were getting very dirty water from the river because of the river pollution, water pollution. And they were struggling to get firewood for cooking. They were struggling to get wood for construction. Animals started dying because there was no grass or leaves. Then they realized these things come from environment, from land. Then what is the solution to get all these things? Yes, protect the environment. They understood that environment was degraded. Environment was degraded. They realized, even now we are all very cool. We get everything what we want. We get food, we get water, we get shelter. There is everything for us. Why are we not serious about the environmental protection? Not only you, even I am not so serious about environment protection. Why? Because I am not affected. You are not affected. When you are affected, when you are deprived of all your basic needs, there will be a day where you will be holding placards to protect the environment. Right now, we don't bother. There are some people still suffering due to lack of water, clean drinking water or clean water. They fetch water from long distance. Yes. When water source get over, what happened? We start thinking to protect environment. So Wangari Maathai and her team, it's a teamwork. She alone did not go and do it. You can see here, there is a picture here in this. Wangari Maathai lifting a very big wood. She is not lifting it. Okay, she is just holding on that. You may be thinking she has done the whole work alone. No, it's a team. So they realized that they have to rehabilitate the environment. What do you mean by rehabilitate? Rehabilitate means restore. Please note down. Restore. Rehabilitation. Rehabilitation center, we say. People who are addicted to drugs, drinks, they will be taken to a particular hospital. We call it as rehabilitation center. Why do we call it as rehabilitation center? We have to restore the character, restore the person. Restore means what? Make as before. Make as before. For example, here Ismat Amir is here. Okay, let us call him Amir. He has put some name here. Amir had a hairstyle earlier. Entirely different. I think it is not Amir. There is another boy. Okay, let us take example of Amir today. Entirely different hairstyle. So some of Amir's friends told, why do you have this hairstyle? It looks like as if some pigeons have made a nest on your head. Please change your hairstyle. So what happened? Amir restores his hairstyle. Means what? Makes it to previous style. That is known as restore. Okay. Wangari Maathai and her team understood that there is a need to restore the environment. What do you mean by degraded? What do you mean by degraded? Degrade means reduce the quality. In school, some of your friends will degrade you. Degrade you means insult you. That is another. Your environment was degraded means the quality of the environment is reduced. No trees, no water. Okay, please use these words, okay? Rehabilitate and degrade. Let us see some of the common words of this lesson. green belt movement, a movement to protect environment. Fodder, food for farm animals. Forested means covered with the forest. Pristine means fresh and clean. Indigenous, native. Indigenous means native. Biological diversity, biodiversity, our unit's name, the variety of plants and animals in a particular place. Exotic species means unusual plants. Let us move on. The forested mountains were the source of water and source of rain. So when you deforest, you cause a shortage of water and change of rainfall patterns, and therefore people are not able to get food and water. Therefore, in order for them to have good environment that can sustain their livelihood, it is important to have a government that accounts to them, that protects them, that protects their interests, that is concerned about their lives. So, Wangari Maathai says that forested mountain, forests are the source of rain and source of water. If you deforest, what happens? There will be shortage of water. Rain pattern changes. Rain pattern changes. Last rainy season, I have observed there was no rain from the area where I started. I just started traveling. When I reached 1 kilometer, it began to rain heavily. Up to the area, my source, there was no rain in my source, but when I was going towards my destination, on the way there was rain. What happened? Rain patterns changed due to deforestation. You might have learned about rain shadow region in social in 7th or 8th or 9th classes. So some area remains without rain. Some area gets plenty of rain. So the area where they have plenty of trees get a good rain. What do the trees do? They stop the rain-bearing winds and cause rain. So they understood that they don't have food and water. It is the only reason is deforestation. So if they want to have a good livelihood, if the African people, if they don't want to turn Africa into desert, they need to plant trees. They should have a good government first. They should have a good government first. Government should be responsible to them. Government should protect them, protect their interests. Then the lives of the people will flourish. Simply people can't, nowadays we can plant any sort of trees. So I was talking about the importance of planting trees. So what happens, Sai Mohana, after completion of her class, what she does, she goes and plants some sandal trees. So government may support sandal cultivation, I think. Okay, you should plant the trees that are useful. Usually what we do is on every student's birthday, we present them a sapling from the school. They are supposed to plant the tree in their house. They should take care of that. When the plant is grown tall, they should take a selfie and forward us. So if a student studies from nursery to 10th class in the school, 13 trees will be there planted by this student when he grows up. Just imagine how a student changed the life of, face of environment. Isn't it, Sai Sagit? Sai Sagit, please unmute. Sai Sagit, please unmute.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. You are in 10th class now. How many plants have you planted so far from nursery to 10th class?
Sir, I think 3 to 5, sir. That's it, not 13.
Okay, now I want you to take your mobile, move on to the plants. Let us all see the plants that you have planted. Please come out of your house, show us your garden. All of you can observe Sai Sagit. Please turn on your camera after you reach the garden. Okay, see Sai Sagit's garden. he just planted only 3 or 4. He has neglected many other plants, or the plants might have been withered. Okay, can you all see plenty of plants? Okay, Avinash also shows plenty of plants. Sai Sage shows me plenty of plants. And is there anyone else who can show me your surrounding? Please get up from your place, all of you. Take your mobile, please get up, turn on your camera and move on to the cultivated area or plants that you have planted. Don't show your neighbors or forest department plants there. Please show the plants planted by you or your family. Okay, Aditya, Karthik, Lokesh, Nidish, I have seen. Let us see many more. Don't turn off your cameras. Okay, Kaudinya has a beautiful garden. Rajkumar, very good. I'm trying to view all of your garden. Anand Reddy, very good. Sudhir, good. Priyavadana, very good. Saget, good. Chamandi, very good. Vaishnavi, good. Bhavya, good. Banu, good. Realme, Nasro, somebody, I don't know the name. Vishal, good. Smidhiga, okay, Smidhiga is also showing some plants. Angida, okay, wonderful. Gautam, good. Gautam, that tree appears to be planted by someone, very big tree, okay. Sadvika is showing me an entire forest, Sadvika Reddy. Oh, Srihida, Sudarshan, Nishant, Kavya, Fatima, very good, very good. I have seen all the gardens today. Very happy today because beautiful. Akshaya, good. So I have given you a walk, I think. It's a punishment for you to walk up to the garden and come back. Okay, now please come back. I appreciate all the students who have planted and started nurturing the plants. If you have not started, please start today. If you have not started, please start today. Okay? Very happy that my students are very active. So we have analyzed one question about environmental protection, and in that process, I was very happy to see the plants planted by you all. Please continue nurturing the plants. We will learn more about. Somebody has something to speak. Avinash, do you have anything to speak? Please unmute, Avinash. Avinash, please unmute. Avinash, please speak to me.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Please tell me, Avinash.
Where are you from, sir?
We are in the middle of a forest, Kaval Tiger Reserve. You might have heard of. Okay, we have plenty of forest, but I am unable to take this laptop and move around. Surely we will show all about this region once. Okay. Please read the rest of the lesson before you attend the next class. So this is all for today. Thank you all. Your homework is to plant a plant if you have not started it.
Good afternoon. How are you all? You can see on the screen many hands raised there. Like, what may be the reason? I have no idea. Ankita, Satvik Reddy, what happened? Why did you raise your hand? Okay, fine. Okay, students, and in the last session we have discussed about the sustainable development with equity. So we have gone through some of the topic in the last session, and already have told you what is sustainable development. Let me ask someone then, who is ready to tell me answer now? Ganesh, are you ready? No. Yes, Ganesh, please unmute yourself and tell me, what do you mean by sustainable development? Unmute and talk. Okay, fine, good. What do you mean by sustainable development? Today's our topic also related to that, and at the same time, I'll show you a video about the sustainable development. How, like, what all the aspects we have to concentrate on if we want to get to sustainable development. Sustainable development is nothing but what may be the answer? Where is Ganesh? Akbar, let me give you a chance now. Please unmute yourself. Oh, Akbar. What happened? Good afternoon. Please speak about what is sustainable development.
The sustainable development are development that meets the needs present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs.
Very, very good. Appreciate why you hesitate first. Then actually it is an absolutely correct answer. Is meet the needs of present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own. Is called a sustainable development. Is it? Very good answer. Akbar, you can. Don't hesitate to say answer. Here, no problem. Whatever you speak, whether it is correct or not, it's not a matter. First to respond. Okay, that is very, very important. Students, all of you, please turn on your video. Today, we are going to discuss about the textual concept like HDI, Human Development Index. Actually, already we have discussed about GDP, Gross Domestic Product, and what is GDP, the final value of finished goods and services produced in a country within a period of time. That we call GDP. And when we discuss about GDP is always actually the final value of finished goods and services within a period of time. That is GDP. So if we want to get GDP, and what all the factors consider when we calculate the GDP is primary, secondary, and tertiary sector. All the factors we will calculate. You all know that very well about. And in that, first case is a primary sector, that is agriculture sector. And in the first case, agriculture sector, you all know that the second or third place in the world when we discuss about our primary sector. So many of you have no idea. I think third place is the primary sector of our country. But even though there is no more increase in GDP. So that all fine. And here, one term, let me remind you before we enter into our topic. What is the term is unorganized sector. Okay, what is actually this unorganized sector? Smritika, can you tell me what you know about unorganized sector? What do you understand about unorganized sector? Unorganized sector. Yes. So that their contribution also will be considered in the GDP. We all know that. Then what is the importance of unorganized sector? Please unmute yourself. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Unorganized sector, it means they won't have particular rules
and regulations. Okay, fine. It may be wage worker, a temporary worker. Everyone will come under that. Am I right? So their income may be very low.
They won't have security.
Yes, don't have security, job security. Fine, absolutely correct. Under that circumstances, whatever the production, actually, whatever the products produced in the country, they are not like accessibility is not there for them. Am I right? Suppose like accessibility is nothing but availability or affordability, we can say. Purchasing power of a good. Am I right? Purchasing power of a good. So especially these unorganized sector people, they are working hard, even though there is no benefit from this all for that major sector. Am I right? Major sector is unorganized sector, we can say. So that is one side. And next we are going to discuss about economic development and environment. Economic development. When a country develops, automatically a lot of resources we need. So when we utilize that resources, it affects on environment. Am I right? It may be like natural resources in the sense, it may be water or timber or mining. Through mining, we extract many minerals. Okay, so these all affect on our environment. Okay, now all of you get ready with your running note and watch this video. Like I have, let me show you a video related to this topic. What all the factors include in this sustainable development? Okay, so please get ready with your running note and watch carefully and note down what all the points you feel important. Okay, so please ready with your running note and watch this video carefully. I hope everyone can see the screen. Is it? Please thumbs up if you can. Can you see the screen? Yes. Okay, fine. Once again, let me share. Okay, fine, good. I hope everyone can see now. Observe this video carefully and find what is sustainable development.
Hi guys.
Can you hear the voice? Just a minute, please wait. Okay.
Do you have time for a few quick questions? I see you're having a lot of fun, but do you ever stop and think if what you do is sustainable? And do you know what sustainable development means? Sustainable development is to make the world a better place for everyone now without destroying the possibilities for the next generations. If you wonder if something is sustainable, you can ask yourself, can we do this over and over again forever? Sustainable development means that we need to keep three things in mind at once: social progress, economic development, and climate and environment.
See that 3 points: social development, economic development.
First of all, we have to take care of our planet. We have many natural ecosystems that must be in balance in order for us to
live. Okay. Some technical issues, students. We'll get back. Okay, please stay online. Okay, students.
I see you're having a lot of fun, but do you ever stop and think if what you do is sustainable? And do you know what sustainable development means? Sustainable development is to make the world a better place for everyone now without destroying the possibilities for the next generations. If you wonder if something is sustainable, you can ask yourself, can we do this over and over again forever? Sustainable development means that we need to keep three things in mind at once: social progress, economic development, and climate and environment. First of all, we have to take care of our planet. We have many natural ecosystems that must be in balance in order for us to live here. The climate system is one of them. This system ensures that the temperature is correct and that the atmosphere emits exactly the right amount of solar energy. When we emit harmful greenhouse gases such as CO2, we clog the atmosphere. This changes the temperatures on Earth, which again affects our development. How we produce and use energy is incredibly important. Oil and coal are examples of energy we may run out of. Water, wind, and sun, however, will always be here. Using the lasting sources of energy that renew themselves is good for the planet and can provide jobs for years to come. Economics. Almost everything we develop, buy, and trade starts with nature. The smarter we use our natural resources and the better systems we create for a fair distribution, the more sustainable we are. One way to contribute to a more uneven distribution is to be more aware of what we buy and how it is produced. A football is a good example. It travels far before it reaches the football players. First, the materials are made. Then, they print the logo somewhere else before a third country sews it all together. One single football sees the whole world before it reaches its goal. This journey ties us together. If we are to win the battle for a sustainable future, we have to play with fair rules that applies to everyone. Social progress. We humans are part of nature, but we're also important resources for the world. Just like water, the forest, and the sun, we have minds that can create the strangest and most creative things. But for us to be the best versions of ourselves, there are certain things that must be in order, like having equal opportunities to education, safety, food, and medicine. This provides greater opportunities for us as human beings, but also for the planet. We just have to think in new ways. These three must work together. That is sustainable development. And there is actually a plan for this. All the countries of the United Nations have agreed on a joint plan for sustainable development. But for the plan to work, we need to cooperate, and we need you to be on board. Are you with us?
Okay, students, what did you understand from this? So sustainable development is three aspects I have told you. First is social, economic, and environment. Three factors. In addition of that, when they discuss about social, HDI, Human Development Index. What is actually Human Development Index? So educational development and health, proper health care. If we get proper health care and education, what happens? It also leads to get good GDP or good national income, and it also like improve our work efficiency. Am I right? So these are all the topics we are going to, and once again, let me remind you 3 points. One is economic development, economic sustainable development, social and environmental. 3 category. Just please write it in your running note. Okay, now let us see the concept. Okay, topic chapter 11, sustainable development. And today we are going to discuss about the following topic, and 2 topics already we have discussed in the previous section: environment and development, people's right over the environment, Chipko movement towards sustainable development with equity. So first topic here, actually we are going to discuss about our textual concept here. As a measure of development, Human Development Index or HDI is an improvement over GDP and per capita income. Already we have learned in the chapter 2. Whereas GDP is an indicator of value of goods and services produced in a country, the idea of progress can hardly be limited to production of goods and services. Absolutely correct. See here, the development, that term all limited where in the production of goods and services. Here there is like, they are not considering about HDI, Human Development Index, and nothing. So that's what beginning I have asked you, what is what you mean by unorganized sector? It means in unorganized sector, especially in farmers, like these farmers and self-employed people, these all come under unorganized sector. Their contribution is high, even though we are not considering them. This is more so when rapid expansion of production and income can coexist with malnutrition and lack of education, health for a large proportion of people, as in the case in India. So it's absolutely correct, students, because GDP, we consider the final value of goods and services produced in a country within a period of time. So here protection is important. There are like lakhs of people who works behind that, especially unorganized sector. There is no consideration that they meant here. Here, this is more so when rapid expansion, please underline that sentence, more rapid expansion of production and income can coexist with malnutrition and lack of education and health for a large proportion of people, as in the case in India. HDI expands the meaning of development to include social indicator of education and health. So like per capita income, when we discuss about per capita income, we have discussed about the same topic. What is HDI, Human Development Index? So that Human Development Index also added in the per capita income, then only we can consider is an average income, or is an, at least per capita income is always not accurate. We all know that. So even though this HDI, Human Development Index, also can be added in that, then the same way here also, it means like more like protection activities rapidly. It means over exploitation of natural resources, protection, GDP, everything fine. But lakhs of people who works in unorganized sector, there is no consideration for them. Coming paragraph, if you read, you will get an idea about that. See here, there are however many other considerations that even these expanded measures of development does not capture. In India, more than 90% of workforce is in unorganized sector. Please note it down. 90% of workforce in an unorganized sector. You all know very well about unorganized sector. There is no skill. Okay, so there is no unorganized sector in the sense like there is no skilled professions. Okay, so it may be a farmer. In previous session, I have told you clearly, one person's pays 10% or 15% is working. Okay, there is no proper rules and regulations followed by these people. And most of the people, wage workers. Okay, they are not thinking about any like affordability. Suppose in GDP, whatever the production are produced by in the country, they are not getting that. So this all one side, where the condition of work are not encouraging at all. See here, 90% of workforce in our country is unorganized sector, where the condition of works are not encouraged at all. Incomes of both self-employed and wage workers is in the unorganized sector. Wage workers and the same way self-employed or shopkeepers without any rules and regulations that we consider here are generally low, at times pitiably so, with such a high percentage of workforce in low paid employment. Okay, with such high percentage of workforce in low paid employment, increase in GDP, and the enormous variety of goods and services being produced can be benefited only selected groups. Okay, so second case, you see, only selected groups can purchase or hire or afford such type of products. People with high income and wealth are the ones who have all the choices in the world to buy and consume. If you check yourself, you can understand what they meant here. Because you see, here a group of people who works in unorganized sector, there as it is, there is no encouragement, nothing. What they do, and like the private industrialists, they are encouraging them to do more work and more effort, even though there is no huge benefit for them. And one side, what happens? People with high income and wealth are the one who have all the choices in the world to buy and consume all these goods, while some enjoy world-class living comfort. The vast majority without proper employment and adequate income are still deprived of minimum necessities for decent living. Such wide inequalities in income and opportunities across people cannot be the basis for a just society. So finally, in conclusion, it's absolutely correct, because a group of inequality, there is no equality under that circumstances. Protection, okay, fine. Everything's like going on well, and even GDP is good. Even though this unorganized sector, like lakhs of people, even 90% of the workforce we can see in unorganized sector, there is no proper care and paying for them. So under that circumstances, we cannot say that there is no equality in the affordability or the consumption or purchasing ability of purchasing or purchasing power of the people. So all only for this high income and wealth are the ones who have all the choices in the world to buy and consume. Coming to next topic here. See this. You can see what like percentage of the income, like the income status of the people who live 2010, according to 2010 survey, deprived income below 1.5 lakhs, 135 million household. Please note it down. Okay, according to 2010 survey, 135 million household income below 1.5 lakhs. Here you can see 75 million household income between 1.5 to 3.4 lakhs. Middle class between 3.2 to 17 lakhs, where 31 million household. Rest 3% household rich. So there we can see the inequality. Once you check yourself in which category you people or your family or your villagers, clearly you can. It's all annual income. Based on annual income they have mentioned here. It means 135 million household below 1.5 lakhs. That also unorganized sector employee. Okay, they work in unorganized sector, we can say. Rich only 3 million household. Okay, so here another major criticism of economic development focused narrowly on GDP springs from its neglect of the environment. Next position. So now social inequality, we can say. Social inequality, social status. Okay, human development index is very, very essential because people health, education, the standard of living. Then only we can say that the exact development. Coming to next topic here, economic development focus narrowly on GDP springs from its neglect of the environment. In various contexts, we have seen how the environmental resources have been used up and damaged to an unprecedented extent in the course of growth, economic growth. So to know unknown, okay, actually here you have like not known before. People needed to like what extract such type of resources from the nature. Unlimited usage of resources, natural resources, we can say here. Is it unprecedented extent in course of economic growth? People forget about the environmental sustainability. Many facts they have given: deforestation, soil erosion, lowering groundwater table, increasing population, pressure on grazing land, rising dependence on fossil fuel, industrial emission, use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides in agriculture, climate change are some of the important and urgent environmental issues before us. Once again, please note it down: deforestation, cutting trees, and soil erosion. Okay, soil erosion mainly goes by this deforestation. Okay, losing the holding capacity, the topsoil holding capacity losing and its fall. So same way, lowering groundwater table, over extraction of groundwater goes for this. Increasing pollution, many pollution in the sense water pollution, air pollution, and human pollution, we can say that. Yes or no? And finally, pressure on grazing land. Even animals, there is no space for grazing land, full of industrialization, technological development. Okay, degrade entire what we call region, and rising dependence on fossil fuel. Okay, so digging and maximum extracting the fuel, and the same way industrial emission, like how it goes for climatical changes. Already we have discussed use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, biocycle, losing biocycle. Okay, we have a natural cycle on the earth. So this all we cannot see now. And in agriculture and climate change are some of the climate change. Finally, climate change occurs. These all factors, like what we call the final result we get in the form of climate change. It affects the primary sector and everything will be collapsed. Here you can see. And climate change are some of the important and urgent environmental issues with which before us. And we are going to discuss about those topics in this chapter. While industrialization has brought a lot of material comfort, at least to some, it has resulted in a world where natural resources are threatened, and now even the climate is being disrupted. This pattern of growth clearly cannot continue. That's it. Okay, in conclusion, this type of resource, like without proper sustainable development or sustainable plan, if we continue using our environment as it is, there is no improvement future, and there is no sustainable development, and pattern of growth clearly cannot continue what we do today. Okay, so especially industrialization, they have given here industrial revolution or industrialization, factories. Okay, so usage of and different types of industries we can see. So their resource is natural resources that also they get from primary sector. Okay, so many beginning we have this unorganized people who work in that. Okay, two cases. First thing we have discussed about inequality and social discrimination, or social discrimination we cannot say that, the income status of the society. And second case, the industrialization, how it goes for damage on environment. Okay, so next is what topics we are going to discuss here you have. In this chapter, we will explore the relationship between development, the environment and people, and how has expansion of economic activity affected different aspects of environment. Yes. Okay, first we are going to get a solution. Look, we have to know what problems we may face in future, and at the same time the environment and people, how has expansion of economic activity. Everywhere profit oriented. If you have an industry or a shop or whatever it may be, everywhere profit oriented now. What has development meant for people's access and right to natural resources and their life? Next, what has development meant for people's access and the right to natural resources and their lives? Can there be different model of development? We will seek answers to these questions through these live issues of people live experience, live experience, and the same way we find that there is need to broaden the focus of development from material goods and services to all the people, present, future generation, as well as the environment with all its living and non-living resources. So that is the ultimate aim. Ultimate aim of this chapter is how can we develop the nation, or how can we see the developmental activity without harm or without like any sort of what we call disturbance on the environment. That is the main aim of this chapter. And in future, you may be an entrepreneur. Okay, you may focus on a factory or an industry. What type of development you have to implement? That answer we get from this chapter. Okay, many facts we are discussing from olden method in the primary, mainly in the primary sector, olden days methods and present days, technological revolution and technological changes that also affected, that also helpful for the people, even especially agriculture sector. You can see that latest machine they have used. Okay, artificial intelligence they have used, modern machineries, and the same way pesticides, how we have to use and what steps we have to take to avoid such type of environmental crisis. Let us see let us learn. And before here you can see the social status of here Dharavi slum in Mumbai, one of the largest colonies in which the urban poor of India lives. And the same way Banjara Hills, Hyderabad, an area where the rich in Hyderabad lives. So here, when we see these two, the first topic, what we discuss in inequality, social inequality or affordability of the people. Here you can see that. For second picture, in Hyderabad, in Banjara Hills, the people, very rich people, they have all facilities, they enjoy the world with all the products. And when it comes to this slum area, unorganized sector people live there, and many people work as wage workers, and it's a slum already, what we call poor people who lives in a group. Okay, so even township or wherever it may be, you can see a slum area because a group of unorganized sector employees. So they work, generally we call slum. Okay, for your understanding, I have given a picture here. And next is environment and development. It's the first topic which we have to discuss. And here, let us start by recalling the role of environment in development. See, many naturally existing substances like land, water, minerals, and ores, products from trees and animals are central to the production process in primary sector activities. That is absolutely correct. What is that? Primary sector is the producer of raw material. Am I right? Already we have learned primary sector is a producer of raw material for secondary sector. Agriculture, mining, quarrying, and in the manufacturing and energy sector, production is hugely dependent on natural resources. The other sectors of economy too are dependent on natural resources in various degrees. Potential of environment to provide these resources referred as the environment, source function. This function is depleted as resources are consumed or pollution contaminates in the resources. So here in the end of the session, they have given, in addition of that, let me remind you one thing. In the nature, we have a sink function, very important term you have in this topic, sink function of the environment. What it means? The absorbing capacity of the environment, generally we call, okay, whatever we, suppose just an example, let me tell you, what we exhale, it is absorbed by the plants and gives back in productive manner. It means in the form of oxygen. It is very helpful for us to survive. Actually, we inhale that oxygen, exhale carbon dioxide. It is a process is there, because whatever we, what we dispose, it should be, we should get back in productive manner. Is it a sink function we call? Coming paragraph, we will discuss about that. So the same way here you can see the primary sector activities. See, naturally existing substances like land, water, mineral, ores. Okay, these are all products we are getting from the nature. And primary sector is a producer of all the raw material to other sectors. Yes, the other sector of the economy are to depend on natural resources like in various degrees. Even especially secondary sector. The potential of environment to provide these resources is refers to as an environment source function. Okay, it's a provider. Environment role is providing or provide all these facilities to the first or second or third sector. It may be primary or secondary or tertiary sector. So here, see, there is another function that the environment provides. What is that? It absorb and render harmless waste and pollution from the various activities. The same I have told you before. What is sink function? The sink function, please underline, students, very important. The sink function describes the environment's ability to absorb and render harmless waste and pollution. When waste outputs exceed the limit of sink function, long-term damage to the environment occurs. So that's absolutely correct. Deforestation is the main reason for this global warming. We all know that already we have learned in the previous class. Okay, what may be carbon dioxide accumulate in the atmosphere? It goes for global warming. The same way, if light changes, suppose if there is no trees, how we get it in a productive way is not possible. See here. And at the same time, it is to absorb the render harmless waste and pollution from the various activities, unwanted byproducts of production. Okay, unwanted byproducts of production. Waste material, we can say, and consumption like exhaust gases from combustion. At the same time, water that is used to clean products, discarded packaging, and goods that are no longer wanted are absorbed by the environment. This is an important as a source function. It means like environment act as a absorber of this all waste material. We can say that. In local term, like you have learned about the degradable products. Whatever we throw, it we get back in the what we call in productive manner. The same way here. Okay, this part very important. Please note it down. What do you mean by sink function? So the sink function describes the environment ability to absorb and render harmless waste and pollutions. When waste outputs exceeds the limit of the sink function, long-term damage to the environment occurs. Please note it down. In the past 50 years of economic development, both these functions of the environment have been overused. This has been said that to affect the carrying capacity of the environment, that is the capacity of environment to support economic production and consumption in future. Let us look at few examples. So here, absolutely, it already, actually, some of the environmentalists or some of the person who study about the environmental crisis, they already found it, because many facts in the like past 50 years, development or economical development, when they assess, they understood that both these function, the environment have been overused. Or it may be over extraction of water, or coal mine, or at the same time environmental pollution, deforestation, many different ways. Okay, so at least from today we have to if you stop, then we have future. Otherwise, what happens in future? There is no proper a sustainable development, we can say, or topic also itself, sustainable development. Okay, preserve the natural resources for future generation. In simple word, if you say that is a definition or that is the answer for that, what do you mean by sustainable development? Preserve the present natural or environment for future generation. Okay, so it is our duty to do this all, because sink function is very, very important. Okay, the ability, the absorbing ability to absorb and render the harmless waste material, generally we call sink function. Okay, children. So now here, see example 1 and 2, 3 examples you have in the concept. First is, as per the traditional practices, the lifting of water. First concept they have given here, the usage of water. Because that is the first function or first resource or valuable resource which we get from the earth, we can say. What is that? As per the traditional practices, the lifting of water was limited to supplemental irrigation for a small areas. For example, in olden days, we have a well, Mota Bavi or something we have called. Is it? So only 2 to 3 hectares can be irrigated. Agriculture was limited to rainy season and large areas were rainfall dry land. There is no rainfall in olden days. Okay, only one well or one backwater we use for irrigating the land. Over time, with new energy resources, pump sets that work with the petrol, diesel and electricity came into picture. The impact has to be seen in 2 phases. What impact, what are the impact? Initially, there was relief from direct energy or human effort. Lifting of water became very easy with pumps. Water was also available in plenty. Open wells had water at 10 to 15 feet deep and at most 100 feet depth. However, with the lifting of groundwater by electric motors, pumps, water table started going down. There is no water because over usage of water. And what goes for that? Usage of technology. Okay, water pump sets they have installed or applied in the field. So what happens? Over extraction happens. Before 100 feet enough to get water. Now what happens? That all well dried. So much so that in some areas groundwater is being drawn from a few 100 feet up. When it rains, some of the rainwater seeps into the ground, that we call groundwater recharge. Here one more explanation definition you have. What do you mean by groundwater recharge? What is that? The rainy time, water percolate into the soil and accumulated under the soil is called recharging of groundwater. Note it down. The path of recharging, what happening now? We are extracting water more than recharge. See here, the path of water under the groundwater is through the medium of soil and rock. If the water drawn out is more than what is being recharged, then it is obvious that after some time, groundwater level will fall. No doubt on that. Okay, so first example, the over usage of water, over extraction of natural resources. Water is one of the what we call natural resources, we all know that. So over extraction with the latest technology goes for decreasing the groundwater. It also affects in future generation. They suffer a lot without getting water. Okay, children. So now, see here, recent data on the status of groundwater resources in India suggests that the groundwater is under serious threat over usage in many parts of the country. Nearly 1/3 of the country is pumping out more groundwater than what goes in as recharge. Example, if you want, you can see that the beverages, Sprite, Coca-Cola, already have told you. Sprite, Coca-Cola, and many factories running here. Okay, export, even export, import also. So they extract maximum water from the ground. Maximum water than that recharging. Okay, so what groundwater recharge already I've told you. How much water penetrate or percolate into the soil? So as much, okay, balance should be there. There is no balance, over extraction. About 300 districts have reported a water level decline of over 4 meters during the last 20 years. These point to an alarming rate of extraction. Groundwater overuse is particularly found in the agriculturally prosperous region of Punjab and Western UP, hard rock plateaus area of Central and South India, some coastal areas, and the rapidly growing urban settlement. Overuse of groundwater implies that the stock of groundwater is depleting or decreasing. The groundwater has been falling lower and lower. Borewells, increasing borewell irrigation. It also one of the reasons for this. Okay, please note out that the human activities on the environment, how we get the sustainable development. That is a concept. Don't forget that. Under that, these usages and all we have to consider. Over extraction of water. Next, the quality of groundwater is deteriorating or decreasing along with the quantity. In 59% of the districts of India, water from hand pumps and wells in unsafe for drinking. This is because of contamination of groundwater from the chemical industrial waste from agricultural industry. Molasses we have discussed. Okay, the effluents which emitted by the factories, it reaches the water. Okay, or like what rivers. So that reaches to the human being. It also harmful for the human being, and the same way other living being. Water is being used as a sink to dump all kind of waste and toxic substances. This is not easily reversible. We will see the consequence. Beginning, I have shown you a video. You have seen in that how it's happened. We will see the consequence of this is in the next example. This pattern of development is in direct contrast to what sustainable development stands for. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. Is it? So in other words, a better quality of life for everyone. Now and for generations to come. However, the extent of our current resources use in such that the chance of future generations to have access to their fair share of scarce resources and endangered. Moreover, the consequences of our resources use in terms of impact in the environment may induce serious damage and that go beyond the carrying capacity of the environment. It resulted all the living being, or we get great impact from this unsustainable usage of natural resources. Okay, children. So this is all about today. So please underline all the notes. And what you're supposed to do is today's topics, very important topic. Let me remind you. One is sink function. Okay, very important. Please note it down. Write it in your running note. Sink function and the over usage of natural resources and its impact. So first main thing, okay, one point already you know how the water usage. Okay, water usage and beginning two cases we have discussed. One is inequality in the society, and second case is development, economic development and sustainability or environment. Economic development and environment. You may get a question in the contemporary issue. So how it's affect the economic development and environment. Comment on it. Okay, what you're supposed to write? These all like what we discussed in that topic, economic development in the sense without thinking about the sustainability of the environment, human being concentrating only on the development, and it leads to get scarcity of the natural resources for coming generation. So please make a note such a manner. So all the questions, okay, you can expect questions from this part, all from our current issues or contemporary issues. Okay, so make a note on all. Okay, children, shall we wind up?